We are live. We are live. Welcome to college football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Flugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you need just a little bit of extra college football content to get you through the days, to get you through the nights until we get to college football season, August 31st, a week before that, subscribe to our ever-growing channel. Smash that like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Share it with your psychiatrist. Share it with your priest. Share it with your significant other. Share it across all of your social media platforms. Welcome into the house that sits on the corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Welcome in. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to be a PATC legend in your comments and in your phone calls. And we are going to open up the phone lines earlier than we have before. Your host has said enough. We've been talking about this for months. I'm going to have a little bit of a monologue. First of all, let's start out with PATC taking the L. We have to start out this show by taking the L. We took the loss. Look, if you could get me under the hot lights Sunday night, Monday morning, and of course we did a show talking about the start of Act 13. We thought this thing was going down next Monday or next Tuesday. Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. You remember we talked about how there was a discussion on our last live show between Colorado and the Big 12. It happened sometime in July. We couldn't get any more significant than that. Well, it happened the moment that Yormark got into Dallas on Sunday from his family vacation in Italy. And we knew about that days before. We knew that Colorado and Yormark, the Big 12, had expectations that communications would happen once Yormark got back in the country. We were also told that it didn't look like it was going to happen this week. This week is stacked with all this stuff they wanted. Yormark, if he could have had his druthers, would have picked a Monday and a Tuesday early in the week to go max out. But it looks like it might be happening tomorrow. There's going to be a vote. There's going to be live stream. We at Peek Around the Corner, we're going to be going live an hour before that. Now, I think the vote is Colorado Board of Regents. Let me put up something here. Colorado Special Board meeting tomorrow, July 27th. That's 3 o'clock Mountain Time. So that should be 4 o'clock Central Time. Correct? So we're going to be going on live at 3 o'clock Central Time, or maybe a little bit earlier. We shall see. We'll see where the events take us. Again, if you've been living under a rock all day long, or been sleeping, or at work, Pete Thamel, sources, Colorado is in discussions about a move to the Big 12, and the school has just completed a board meeting. That was today, and scheduled another for tomorrow to discuss the move. The Big 12 is also holding a president's meeting tonight, where there's expected to be an expansion update. So if we get something, put your head on a swivel, PATC community. Put it out there in the chat. Throw it to my DM on Twitter. Let's talk about it. Whatever update that the Big 12 presidents can give us, that would be fantastic. Again, we're going to your phone calls and comments. Ask earlier than we've ever done it. This is going to be our smallest, shortest monologue we've ever had. No, I'm not going to be singing tonight, but I'm probably going to be singing tomorrow. Colorado Rocky Mountain High. So everybody in the chat room can breathe a sigh of relief. It's not happening tonight. The damage will be done tomorrow in dedication to Gold and Blue Dude. I know you're looking down from the heavens above, and I know you're enjoying all of this. So it will be in dedication to you tomorrow. Not going to do it tonight. There were specific events. I'm just going to go through this one time, then we're going to get to your comments. There were specific events that happened throughout this saga. On February 24th, Peek Around the Corner received the news that Pac-12 just got lowballed to the point where Fox and ESPN basically sent the message of no more of a one-region Pacific Coast Conference. Not on their dial, not on their clock, not with their wallet. Were they going to basically support that? Not at the level that it has been for last decades. So at February 24th, we at Peek Around the Corner, thank you so much, Daniel Montecastle, for your super chat. I appreciate your friendship throughout the years, for your generosity to the show. I'm going to get to your comments. I'll get to your super chats as soon as they light up. Appreciate it, Daniel, so very much. So does the little general. Thank the wife for me as well. February 24th. So that's, look. So on that day, we said we had to flip the odds at the PATC Sportsbook and say the odds now favor the Big 12 to poach the Pac-12 with at least one school. And that's never changed. The line has wiggled a little bit, but has never, ever changed. That is 5 months ago, PATC believed that this would happen. Because it wasn't because the schools wanted to leave. There were no Pac-12 schools that wanted to join the Big 12. We have said that on every live show. We have made that as clear as possible. Even today, people are misrepresenting what PATC has been saying since February 24th, for God's sakes. But the story has always been the Pac-12. Could they get an immediate deal that would satisfy all 10 schools? And we believed 5 months ago that it wasn't going to happen. In the middle of April, we got word of something big happening with Colorado. We said there was going to be a hot bubble of action anywhere between April 28th and May 17th. We said that over and over and over and over again. We gave you all a peek around the corner. On the morning, not the morning, a little bit after noon, on noon, April 28th, we got the word confirmed. There was a meeting going to be held May 7th on a Sunday. Thank you, Ryan Thomas, for your super chat. May 7th on a Sunday between the Big 12 and Colorado. Every day that led to it, we kept talking about the hot bubble of action. Then it happened. On May 8th, May 9th, May 10th, May 11th, here at Peek Around the Corner, we said that the Pac-12 received a shot to the solar plexus, but they're still standing. We couldn't talk about the meeting. We couldn't even describe it as a meeting. We cannot burn our sources. We have to be trustworthy here at Peek Around the Corner. But eventually we could get in the details. Thank you so much, Hero75, for your super chat. I appreciate your generosity. Thanks to everybody. I very much appreciate it. And I'll get to your comments. I'm sorry, Hero75. I'll get to your comments as soon as I possibly can. I don't know anything about the Ohio State-Oregon mascot together. I saw it, but I don't know the meaning of it. I figured it was a scheduled game out in the distance. So that meeting happened. Then on May 24th, the donors meeting in Boulder, Colorado. We talked about it a week prior that something was brewing in Colorado May 24th, and it happened. May 31st, there was a big whale meeting. Colorado donors meeting out in Newport, California. We didn't say Newport, California at the time. We said a state out west of Colorado. Again, we could not provide you all the details at the time because we had to protect our sources. That's how we have to do it. This is a small little YouTube channel that broke the USC story, that nailed the Colorado story with a couple L's in between. And this, you cannot burn your sources. We gave you as much detail as possible. And after, when it was broken by Pete Thamel, that Colorado and the Big 12 met in person in May, then we told you it was May 7th in the city of Chicago, Illinois. June 6th, there was a Board of Regents meeting. We got it confirmed that it was about conference affiliation. There was another Board of Regents meeting in Colorado that was about conference affiliation, but we could never give you the date. Remember the last couple live shows? We can give it to you now. Thank you so much, Gorb, for your super chat. I appreciate it. July 12th to the 14th, the Colorado Board of Regents retreat. They talked about conference affiliation. We got it confirmed 3 ways to Sunday. So we knew this was brewing. We knew this was percolating. We knew that Your Mark was coming back from Italy. We knew that they were going to have a talk. But we thought it was going to happen Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of next week. Even though we said Act 13 was beginning this week, it was because there was going to be a different vibe. There was going to be a different vibe. Brett Yarmark left the stage because he didn't have to talk anymore. He had his final talk with Colorado. They're talking about possible standalone basketball programs to elevate their basketball. We talked about all of that. But if I could have talked clearly and completely honestly, I would have told you all it was going to happen next Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We also said, though, if Your Mark gets the call, they're of course going to accept it. They're going to be happy about it. Anyways, there's so much to talk about. Receipts. Yeah, we've got them stacked from the floor to the moon and back. But you know what? I'm not going to use any of them tonight. In fact, thank you, Jared Jones, Mr. Buckeye. You the man, Greg. Show all the receipts. There is one receipt that I'm going to show tomorrow from the man from Wharton College. And everything he said in this one single tweet was about me personally. That's why I'm going to show it. And all of it was incorrect. All of it. Every single portion of it. And so that is going to be the receipt that I'm going to put out tomorrow. For all the other ones that we have, I'm going to put them on the shelf. Thank you so much. Just the rowdy dude from South Carolina. My prediction is Colorado, Arizona State, and Oregon State to the Big 12. Big 12 is not adding only one Pac-12. Schools are saving themselves at this point. Thank you so much for your super chat. Just a rowdy dude from South Carolina. I appreciate it so much. And Gerald Jones, again, thank you for your generosity. The other receipts we're going to shelve for now, and hopefully I don't use them. Hopefully I stay true to being correct, being right, and not being a jackwagon about it. It's okay to be right, but it's not okay to be right and be a jackwagon. It's okay to be wrong, but it's not okay to be wrong and be a jackwagon about it. And I'll say one more thing, then we're going to get to your comments, and then we're going to get to your phone calls. It's, when you do this, you expect the elbows, this is part of it. You expect people to say untrue things about you. But I got to tell you, it is at times very, very difficult for the family, for friends, and for my wife, for things to be said about you that are just absolutely untrue. We told no lies in this story. Everything was backed up. In fact, we held things back. If I was the grifter, if I was just, we would have done this story so much different. But we held back so we could harvest the field again, so we could give you the next peek around the corner. And that's what we are most proud of at PATC. Because we can do this once again, and we will. We are not going anywhere. So I want to thank the PATC community for being so patient with us, for hanging in there with us, for taking the Holy Smokes Theater in the spirit that it was intended to be. A way for us to deliver information, hopefully in some sort of entertaining manner, and give you a glimpse of what is going on or what we believe is going on through our incredibly increasing vast of sources of information. Ryan Thomas, thank you for your super chat once again. J-Rod, bless up, Greg, you rule. Thank you for your super chat. I appreciate it so very much. I've done enough talking. We're going to do a lot more tomorrow, right? There's going to be a lot more tomorrow. Tonight, after the show, I'm going to be spending time poking around. We've done some before this show started, of course. We're going to have to reset the stage probably late afternoon tomorrow, July 27th. Yeah, we're going to have to reset the stage of Act 13. Let's get to your comments right now. Let's not waste any more time. Holy smokes, the comments are unbelievable. Geez, I hope I didn't miss any. I'm sorry. Adam Vulture, I am sorry to miss your super chat. Don't sweat it. Doing a great job. Too many ruffled feathers. Thank you, Adam, for your super chat. I apologize. I didn't get to it right away. Gold Blue Dude was a good man, and we're gonna try to sing him a song. We're gonna sing a song tomorrow. So we'll get through that tomorrow, hopefully. But yeah, I'm thinking of Gold and Blue Dude just because you guys know how hard he worked, where he came from, the passion that he had for his YouTube channel, for the people that watched him, for how he handled the trolls, the good humor, the love that he had for his people that helped him on the show. But just where he came from, right? Where he came from. I don't want to get too emotional. I'm not going to be able to get through a song tonight, but yeah, Gold and Blue Dude, man. I'm just making sure I haven't missed any sunglasses. Check. Absolutely. Big 12 might be open for business, but the Pac-12 doesn't know if it's going shopping there or not. Oof, Sky. Oof, Sky. I guess George Kliavkoff waited one day too long again, as we've reported, since January 31st from the Arizona State money perch, they never got the deal. They never got numbers. Even Robert Robbins said today of Arizona president, basically he said, look, we're still waiting for the numbers. We're still waiting for the numbers. I mean, they don't have the numbers. Great job. How are we looking forward to Arizona State wrestling in the Big 12 in this year's Oklahoma State duel in Minneapolis? Or Ohio State. I think you meant Oklahoma State. But either way, doesn't matter. Arizona State, Big 12 wrestling could happen. Why not? Let's go. Sorry, I'm just checking my phone. A lot of things going on. Thank you for your super chat, Clay Try. Appreciate it very much. Arizona State, what are they going to do? We've been talking about it. Arizona is the next one. Everybody has to keep an eye on Arizona. I think Arizona State is following up right behind them. Michael Crow, the president. They don't want to go to the Big 12, but they have been furious behind the scenes on how this has gone down. Absolutely upset. They have been the most boisterous. They have been talking loud behind the curtain. You haven't been getting that anywhere else. Any reports? I haven't seen it. But I take it however you want it. Arizona State is not happy. Of course, it's easy to say that now. But we've been saying it since January 31st. Arizona State's not happy. I'm going to make this clear. Arizona State is not happy with George Kliavkoff. Maybe more than anybody else. Can I make this any more clear? So keep an eye on Arizona State. No, they didn't want to go to the Big 12. Again, I'm talking too much. We're going to update the stage tomorrow, I believe. Thank you so much, Cougar Tracks, for your super chat. I appreciate it. Appreciate it so very much. All of you, I appreciate it. Coming on in. Who's on the stage now? Arizona's on the stage. They are on the stage, and Arizona State is right off to the edge of the stage. Utah, all the way up to the front row. Oregon State, Oregon Stack. I heard Oregon State, Big 12. Would Oregon follow? Some buzz out there about Oregon State. It would help it would help Brett Yormark, right? In that fourth time window, Oregon State, they would be willing to do it. No question about it at this point. Is Oregon State one of the schools going to the Big 12. Sergeant Pickles, tough day for old school Pac fans. Gold Dogs, Washington. No doubt about it, Sergeant Pickles. There's a lot of nervous people, and I have failed to mention that. Thank you to bringing that up, Sergeant Pickles. It's a tough day. It's a tough day. As a Golden Gopher fan, watching the Big Ten and the Pac-12 go at it in the Rose Bowl all these years, although it was never the Golden Gophers since I've been alive. But yes, I have affinity towards the Pac-12. I am not anti-Pac-12. I am not pro-Big 12. I hopefully have made that clear. I'm not pro-Big 10. I got my Golden Gophers going 6-6 this year. I got Gopher fans upset with me. I've had Big 10 fans upset with me. I understand Pac-12 fans are upset with me. But we had to go where the story went. We had to skate where the puck is going to flow. And this is what the story was. They couldn't get a media deal. They couldn't get a media deal to satisfy Colorado, and probably more schools are on the run. Okay, let's get to your phone calls. Shooter texts, lots of chat about either Oregon or Washington jumping ahead and taking an invite from the Big 12, jumping ahead of Arizona State, Utah, and the rest. Bird in the hand and all that. Wow. Jay Piermutter, thank you for your super chat. $10 super chat, Pac-12 equals Sears. Absolutely. Wow. There is some, look, I've received some Washington steam already tonight. I have received some Oregon steam already tonight. Oregon is already lining up a meeting for tomorrow. I have not seen a Board of Regents meeting for tomorrow. I think it's early in the morning. I think it's 10 o'clock Mountain Time or Pacific Time. So that would be, noon Central Time, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. I don't believe Washington has set up a time yet of their Board of Regents tomorrow. And maybe they can't. Becky, part of the PATC community, has been communicating to me and said that possibly the Washington Board of Regents meetings, the people who are part of the Board of Regents meeting are scattered all over the country. Maybe they can't get back together quickly enough tomorrow to get a meeting going. Oregon State had a board meeting yesterday. Oregon's meeting is to extend Lanning, the head coach. Noah Bunga, Oregon's meeting tomorrow is to discuss Dan Lanning. Thank you so much for that information. Okay, let's get to your phone calls. Now, we're going to do, listen up, PATC community, 5 minutes. Phone calls can only go for 5 minutes tonight. When you have 20 seconds left, I'm going to say wrap it up. You got 20 seconds left. Okay?
Call from
Dog.
I'm sorry, I did not get the name.
It's the dog.
God, the floor is yours, sir.
Hey, my man. Greg Flugarian.
Yes.
The guardian of the college football galaxy.
Yes.
How are you, man?
Good, doing good.
Oh, crazy night. I guess I could consider myself one of the old school Pac fans, loving my Ducks, loving traditional rivalries, and watching the change that is now before us. It's a lot to take in.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I wanted just to discuss, thoughts on how these next successive moves play out. Let's, assume Colorado's gone. I think there's likely, a very strong chance we see Arizona go not too long after that, whether they wait to see a deal or don't. I think there's then perhaps a chance that we see a big pause, apart from an Oregon State or Washington State, one of those two teams that are going to need a lifeline. There's no question. Maybe they make a jump. I don't know. But when that happens, do you think that perhaps there is a little bit of cloak and dagger, if you will, in some of the comments that came out from some Big Ten sources saying that they're going to stand pat for now because here's an opportunity for them to go discount shopping and prevent in Oregon and Washington from signing a long-term grant of rights deal, which could ultimately, not be advantageous for them if they have to wait for years and years into the future to sort of put their future plans together. So in that way, I'm thinking that perhaps you have newly minted AAU member ASU and a Utah, along obviously with Oregon and Washington, putting the brakes on everything to see perhaps if those lines of communication open back up. And who knows with Cal and Stanford? I just don't know. I mean, I could envision a world where perhaps the Big Ten is open to taking 6 teams out there and solidifying the West Coast in all of the largest markets, the schools with the most tradition, and, perhaps they go shopping for 4 more schools, in the Southeast or, Atlantic, Mid-Atlantic, area. I don't know, but I'm curious as to what your thoughts are, as the Colorado domino falls and what that means in relation to the Big 12 or the Big 10. I'm sorry.
Well, I've said it. I believe that Oregon and Washington is going to be in the Big 10 5 months from now or 5 years from now. They're going to keep swinging. We said that when Kevin Warren left the commissionership of the Big 10, that was the number one hurdle for further Big 10 expansion here in the near future. Because Kevin Warren, that Fox Sports and other people did not want to deal with Kevin Warren anymore. When he left the commissioner's job, the number one hurdle left. However, there are other hurdles. The next big hurdle was a legal hurdle. The Big Ten Legal Council did not want to be seen as the one who completely destroyed the Pac-12. So the Big 12 had to crack the Pac-12 first for the Big Ten to act. It looks like tomorrow that hurdle is not going to be around anymore. There's still a couple more hurdles for near future Big Ten expansion. They got to get a media company to pay for it. Someone has to pay the freight for it. And we haven't gotten any word that that's happened yet. And the other hurdle is the Big Ten presidents have to come around and vote on it. They would have to be for extending an invitation or accepting an application of Oregon and Washington. And we don't believe that they are there yet. However, I want to emphasize, now that Colorado is joining the Big 12, it looks like officially tomorrow, this thing's cracked open. This thing could shatter any different. This thing could go any different ways, and we're only speculating tonight. I've got a long night ahead of me after this show. Yeah. Tomorrow's show, we're going to set the stage for Act 13, and hopefully we have more information on where generally this thing is heading. I would not discount the possibility of the Big Ten adding a 17th or 18th school. It's still a long shot, and here in the near future, it's still a long shot, but it's a live shot. You cannot take it off the board. No way, no how, especially if you can get Oregon and Washington in as a discount. I don't believe any other Pac-12 school could be targeted at this point. Oregon and Washington have been cleared and vetted. A lot of work has been done with Oregon and Washington. They've had meetings with the Big Ten in 2 different cities, one of them being Washington, D.C., the other one being in New York City. So I think it's only Oregon and Washington that are up at the plate for possible Big Ten expansion. Tony Petitti's words at the Big Ten media days, where he said the only direction he's been given of the Big Ten is for the onboarding of UCLA and USC. Of course he was going to say that. That's all he could say, and it's true. They're not looking at expansion. They're not going to give a look at expansion until the Pac-12 gets cracked open, and they're about to get cracked open. Does that answer your question?
It does, right? That's right in line, with my thoughts there. And perhaps the other piece, essentially the 2 hurdles that might remain, a media partner footing the bill and clearing votes amongst school presidents. I mean, as the theater presented us previously, we had Oregon and Washington with a Fox executive next to each other in the front row. Do you perceive, a likelihood of them footing that bill?
We'll see. We'll get we'll get more into that tomorrow. I'm going to get to the next phone call.
You got it.
Okay, I appreciate the phone call. Thank you so much. Hello. Oh, I lost somebody. They hung up on me. There we go.
Call from
Rebecca, go Huskies.
Rebecca, Huskies, she's in the house once again. The floor is yours. What's going on?
Well, hey, Greg. Well, today turned out to be a conundrum. First, we got definitive proof of alien life and bodies.
Well, yes.
And then you were right on Colorado.
Yes. 2 for 2 today. 2 for 2.
2 for 2. And I was one of the people. I was doubting it. I was like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not seeing it.
You weren't seeing the aliens, huh? Okay.
Yeah. No, today's been wild. Colorado leaving is a big thing. I think it cracks some doors open, as we're already hearing. The rumor mill is already swirling that Oregon and Washington are talking.
Hey, Becky, can you hold just a second?
Yeah.
I apologize. You get your time back. It's just I get so far behind, and then I do a really bad job at this. Bill G, thank you so much for your super chat. Great job, Greg. PATC, the original, still the best. I appreciate your generosity so very much. And then, of course, I just lost the other super chat. Kaufman, I apologize for not getting to your super chat. Let the haters hate. Keep the great work, sir. Thank you so much for your generosity to the show. Becky, sorry about that. Go ahead. Go right ahead.
No, you're all set. I mean, I think the biggest rumor now is that it's Oregon State and not one of the other 4 corner schools that's going to go.
Oregon State. Yeah, there's a buzz out there.
Yeah, it's a weird buzz, and it came pretty feverishly, pretty quickly this afternoon. I was a little surprised. I mean, Immaculate's asking, why I can stay so calm. I'm like, well, because Washington's fine. They'll figure it out. They'll figure out something. I'm sure Washington and Oregon are just kind of playing this one by the book. But Oregon State is the one that I'm like, that's my question for you. Do you see Oregon State?
I tell you what, if Oregon State goes to the Big 12, PATC takes the L, because we have not heard that steam. But tonight, some really, really good, smart people, real good people whose batting average is very, very high, says there is legit Oregon State Beaver steam on this. So we haven't heard it at Peek Around the Corner.
Yeah, I think at this point, for anything Big Ten related, and I'll get to my last little piece here, but anything Big Ten related for Washington or Oregon, somebody else has to leave. It has to be completely cracked and has to be to a point where there's no coming back from this, because you could fill the one slot, get to 10, and just kind of live with a media deal for a few years with a San Diego State or a Boise State or a Fresno State, but you can't do it when you have to fill it with 3 or 4 because there's just nothing left. There's just no money there for that. But my big question for you is on the scheduling. Everybody's got to go back. I didn't even think about this, but it was the Washington beat writer who pointed it out. He's like, the University of Washington has 2 slots to fill now next year, Colorado and Ohio State. They haven't filled Ohio State yet. Now they have 2 spots that have to be filled. It's like all this stuff has to be done in the next year. So even if Washington and Oregon join the Big Ten and Colorado's joining the Big 12 or with whomever, all those schedules have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah. Great point. Big Ten, their schedule for 2024, there are no dates to that football schedule. Okay?
Yeah.
It's only matchups.
Yep.
So they've left themselves a little bit, how Big Ten, and I'm not saying this because Becky's on the line. I've been saying this since day one of this YouTube channel. Big Ten has strong interest in Washington. So, yeah.
And I mean, like, I have said, like, watch Washington and Oregon with ESPN and the ACC. I'm not saying the SEC would ever come around, but I have told people in the past, they said, look, if the Big Ten were to go south and end up in SEC country, the inevitability of the SEC to go west is big. So the Big Ten basically taking a Washington and Oregon would basically block off the Pacific time zone for that one conference.
Okay, Becky?
I'm not saying it would never happen. I'm just going to leave you guys. Had to point it out. The schedules are going to be all out of whack, and I'm looking forward to see who Washington fills in with Ohio State.
Yep.
But it's still not done. And now they got to fill in Colorado. So, anyway,
a lot of chaos.
Can't wait to see the receipts. Can't
Yeah.
wait to see the receipts. I have a feeling on who they are because they blocked me.
Okay, thank you, Becky, for the phone call. I appreciate you. Okay?
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Call from
Shooter, Texas.
Shooter, Texas is on the line. Shooter, can you just hold 1 second?
Yeah, no problem.
And thank you for PATC Community's patience with this. For how this show works, the phone callers often has to take just a moment because I'm trying to catch up with everything else. It's the only way we can make this show flow a little bit. So thank you, Shooter, Texas. Patrick in the comments section says Arizona's having an emergency phone call tonight. Patrick, if you can send me a link, a DM to my Twitter. If there is a link to that story, I would appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Again, thank you for all the donations tonight. If you hit that $, it can get to your question or comment sooner rather than later. And subscribe to our show and all that stuff. Shooter, Texas, the floor is yours. Thanks again for your patience.
Yeah, thank you, man. I just want to say up front, man, I wish GBD was here, Golden Blue Dude. He would be having a ball. Loved being on his show in the past. But quick question for you. Have you heard anything about whether or not Fox is on board? I know you say that the Big Ten has vetted Oregon and Washington, but has Fox said that they would fund adding them? And if not, I don't see why the members would vote to bring in Oregon and Washington and dilute themselves. And I don't know, man. What do you think about that?
What was the last part of that? Who wouldn't want it dilute?
Well, why would the members vote to add Washington and Oregon if there's no money to do it from Fox?
Okay. Fox has no problems adding Oregon and Washington as long as somebody else is paying the freight. But when it comes to composite of the conference, in theory, Fox Sports is for adding Oregon and Washington. They would love to have the Big Ten Network in Oregon and Washington. The subscriptions, people would buy the Big Ten Network in Washington and Oregon. The Oregon Duck fan base is big. Washington brand, Seattle, the Seattle market would buy the products and services that the national brand advertise on Big Ten live content games, right? So Washington, Oregon, the Big Ten presidents They are very interested in those additions. It's all about timing, cost-benefit analysis. Fox Sports is for it. They were not for it when Kevin Warren was the commissioner. We've been through that before. But he's gone. So someone else is going to have to pay the freight. And I don't think they have an answer to that yet. But, man, Shooter, I have no ability to confirm this at this point, and I may never have this, but it's my highly strong-held opinion that the phone calls going back between Oregon, Washington, and the Big Ten right now are happening tonight. Okay, one more look.
Yeah, real quick. My thought on that is, what if Fox says no? Then Oregon and Washington would have to go somewhere else, like, for example, the Big 12, and then Fox would get all of that content for pennies on the dollar.
Sure. No, great point. I don't think Fox would say no to a Washington-Oregon ad. I think there are other things that would say no for the Big Ten that add Washington, Oregon. Like nobody else pays the freight. That CBS wouldn't chip in another $50 million. NBC wouldn't chip in another $50 million. They couldn't. The presidents wouldn't want Amazon to have a Friday night game, and Amazon's willing to chip in $100 million. And Illinois, Minnesota, Purdue would say no. We don't want this at this point. There's other no's out there. I don't think Fox Sports is a no for Oregon, Washington added to the Big Ten. But there are other no's that have and will possibly stop it from happening right now.
Well, I just want to say, great show, man, and thank you for sticking to the truth, sticking to your guns. Sorry you took so much flack.
Yeah.
Great show. Love all your stuff, and I'll clear the line for another caller.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Thank you, Shooter. Appreciate it. Great phone call. Think we lost somebody there.
Call from
Nathan Brown.
Nathan Brown, Big 12 Mafia, has a great YouTube show going to be going on later tonight. Nathan Brown, catch it at Big 12, or is it Holy Rivals tonight?
No, it's gonna be Mafia. I think that's apropos for the content.
Big 12 Mafia, check it out. What's going on, Nathan? What do you think?
Well,
What's happening?
First, I'm glad I was caller 15. Now, do I win the record or the CD?
You don't win anything.
That's not true, Greg. Your show is a reward to everybody who's been following it. So I'm not going to take a lot of your time. You have way more important people than me. I just wanted to let you know first, your props. I think everybody now realizes that whatever they say, reporter or no reporter, you only say the truth. And I think that's really important. I hope everybody realizes that. The other thing I wanted to bring up is, as far as receipts go, I think we all need to turn the other cheek. You know, I ran into some issues with some pretty strong personalities that have supported the Pac-12, and you ran into the same people. And you know what? I've just decided, rather than doing a hit job and just naming all these people and putting a list together and all this other nonsense, we're just going to move on, because as a BYU fan and a Big 12 fan, we just want to turn the page and start playing some football.
Yeah,
and I think that's the most exciting part.
And you're absolutely correct, Nathan. And the story is so big. It is so big. We don't even have time for that nonsense. And
right. When
you have a story that's so big, and you know what? It's been a big story for quite a long time.
Right.
But if you have any curiosity to this story, I mean, it is exhausting. You are poking and prodding. You don't have time to even get into a discussion about how much you're lying or using a Ouija board or taking things out of thin air or being a part of an Endeavor plot and all this other nonsense. It's so like waste of time for everybody. That poison that was dropped in to college football. We can disagree. That's the fun part. We can disagree, but we're not part of factions. We are biased. We are very biased, but we're not part of some sort of plot. It was complete nonsense. And Nathan, I'm going to try not to go into the receipt business. There is one of them I'm going to show tomorrow.
I know the one you're going to show. You don't even have to tell me. I know what it is.
Okay, but, it's just, I'm going to do that one because I'm not a good enough person to completely do 0 of them. Let's put it that way.
Well, at the end of the day, we're all looking forward to playing football again. I
Yes.
think the conferences that are getting together and consolidating are going to be much, much stronger. And where we end up, this is just the beginning. What did Churchill say? It's not the beginning of the end; it's the end of the beginning.
Yes.
And this is where we're at. And your show and my show and a bunch of other contributors out there, I would just recommend follow those people and know that their sources are real people and they're not made up, fanciful things.
Yeah.
And let's quit with the personal attacks. Let's get away from that. I'm just so over that,
Yeah, it's complete nonsense. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, well, I'll let you go tonight, 10:30, Big 12 Mafia on YouTube, and maybe we can get Greg to come over and give us a little of his time.
Got it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right, talk to you later.
Appreciate it.
Call from
Crab cakes and football.
Crab cakes, you dropped your phone dropped on me.
Call from
Lewis is on the line. Mr. Duke Blue Devil. Mike Elko signs an extension. What's going on, good sir?
Well, good evening. Well, this is the third summer we've had realignment, and I just want to take everybody back to a moment 2 years ago when Bob Bowlesby sent a cease and desist letter to ESPN because the American Athletic Conference was contacting Big 12 members about taking the fall out of the Power Five and diving back into the Group of Five with the AAC. The Big 12 was in dire straits 2 years ago this time. The Pac-12 could have easily killed the conference. And so for this moment to be upon us, where it appears the Big 12 instead is going to pick off a Pac-12 member, it's just an incredible irony. It's perhaps one of the biggest mistakes in college realignment that the Pac-12 did not add Big 12 schools. I guess they felt, I know the USC president had something to do with it, but there was not a will. There was a view that Big 12 schools were beneath. And having ties to Duke, where I understand the academic standards, and West Virginia, where I grew up as a West Virginia fan, I understand the dynamics. They felt that the Big 12 schools were not schools they wanted to bring into their club, but it's really going to potentially hurt them tonight. So it was a big mistake. Yeah. And Brett Yormark is the absolute most consequential athletic commissioner hire of at least the last 50 years. There's somebody else that has done more in 1 year, that's looking to do more in 1 year. He's it. Now, he took the big risk. He threw his helmet over the wall when Texas and Oklahoma were left off for $50 million a year, which was a low price considering they could have had to pay a lot more. A deal was made with Texas and Oklahoma to clear the way for the expansion. It had to happen. If it didn't, there would be a lot of people angry at Brett Yormark. But it appears that we're on the road to a Big 12 expansion and adding Colorado and potentially more teams. Yormark's done his job. And the final thing I'll say, and I'll go into this more on a later show when there's more time and not the feeding frenzy, is there are just so many parallels between the Pac-12 situation and what happened to the Big East in 2010. So many parallels that it's ironic, but actually it makes sense. But you've been very true to your story throughout all this, and it's been a great show, and it's been great to be a part of it. And thank you very much, Greg.
Thank you, Lewis. I appreciate those very kind words. Thank you, sir. You make this show, Lewis.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate it. You have a good one. Thank Thank you, Carson, for your super chat. I appreciate it. Pride killed the Pac-12. This is really sad, y'all. Thank you, Carson.
Call from
Monavision.
Monavision, Mr. Buckeyes in the house. The floor is yours, good sir.
Yeah, Greg, I call in to talk about Northwestern and the toxic environment of Minnesota. Well, you were right, Greg.
Yeah.
History,
Well, even a blind gopher, can pick up an acorn once in a while.
the Big Lubbock delusion has become the Big Lubbock reality.
Yeah.
I just wanted to touch base. I see a lot of people bringing up the Ohio State Brutus and Puddles, the mascot picture from Instagram. It's for a Nike ad campaign, guys. We're on the same. We're both Nike teams, so
Okay.
they're doing something out there for Nike. It's not a scheduling thing. It's not Oregon's coming to the Big Ten. What I can tell you is there's a lot of people who wanted to go home from work at 5 o'clock today. And as of about 20 minutes ago, they're still in their offices now.
Sure. It's volatile is the word, I guess.
Yes, yeah. So, I mean, and that's not just, that's in Big Ten country.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. So, I just wanted to call Greg and say, hey, I was so glad to see that you could prove them right, or prove yourself right, prove them wrong. I agree with Nate, turn the other cheek, but I know the receipt that you're going to drop as well, and it's very well, drop it like an A-bomb, brother.
I'm just going to drop one of them because I'm just going to do it.
You only need to drop out one. You only need to drop the one.
Yeah.
So, that's it, Greg. That's all I've got to say. No future big expansion until we get Notre Dame figured out, though.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the call. Talk to you tomorrow, probably. Appreciate it.
Immaculate.
Immaculate, can you hold for just 1 second?
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. R Web, thank you for your super chat. Sorry I didn't get to you sooner. Big Lubbock, baby. We at Endeavor are proud of you, Craig. Oh, you're getting me in trouble. Sincerely, Big 12 Karen. R Web is getting me in trouble once again, but I thank you for your super chat. God, you guys are killing me. Big Ten Ted is in the house. Greg Oppenheimer Flugar. Holy smokes, Big Ten Ted. If you want to get the latest on Big Ten, what's going on, watch that show. I hope Big Ten Ted has the Gophers at least coming in third place in the Big Ten West. We'll see. Immaculate, the floor is yours. Thanks for your patience.
All right, thanks for having me, Greg. I'm going to turn my voice up to 1.5 speed. We're going to turn this 5 minutes into 7.5 minutes.
Just do the best you can.
I'm going to keep all the crazy stuff onto the show a little bit afterwards with Nate because that's how we do it over there. But first thing I want to say to you is congratulations.
Thanks, buddy.
I've been watching from the back saying like, ooh, I'm glad these guys are taking all these shots because it's been crazy. But congratulations to you for sticking it out, for staying true to what you're doing. I have enjoyed the hell out of it and being one little part of it as you've allowed me to be. And
I appreciate your friendship. You've been more than a small part of it. I appreciate you, and hopefully the Gophers beat the hot guys here in 2023.
Well, you know what? Dreams are good to have, and I don't want to shatter your dreams or anything, but Hawks 11-1, baby.
Oh boy.
But I just want to say to folks, if they think that this is big, because everyone is so excited, this ain't nothing yet, and I think you know that.
Yeah.
This is the appetizer.
Yeah.
We got a lot coming our way now. I think it's going to come quicker than even I thought. This Oregon State talk and all of that. I'll just say I think Oregon State's coming with them, and we're looking at Arizona and Washington State after that, and that's all I'm going to say on that right now with you. But
got it.
Congratulations, man, and I hope this makes some of the pain that you've gone through along the way a little bit sweeter.
Got it. Appreciate your kind words, Immaculate. Brian, thank you very much.
Sounds good, man. You have a great night, and hope to see you over there as we're chatting the crazy.
Got it. You got it, buddy. Okay, Greg, is Arizona at the center of the stage now? Yes, they are, Nathan. Yes, they are. They got some work to do. They didn't do all the work that Colorado did.
Call from
Mike Vernon, Scoop Mike.
Mike Vernon is on the line. Holy smokes. What's going on, good
I've
sir?
been trying to call and call and call. What a day. I'm excited. And I want to join in the chorus of people right now giving you your flowers.
Thank you, sir.
Incredible work. You've done it again and again. And, you do it because we love college football. So, congratulations. It's excellent.
I appreciate your kind words and your friendship, Mike.
I appreciate it. We talked about this a lot. I figure we should do it on your show. It's been a minute. You were talking about the Arizona schools. I was a little behind.
Yeah.
As a Big 12 fan, that to me is where my attention turns toward.
Yeah.
So Arizona, do we know if Arizona can act independently of Arizona State? Is that firmly who is next? I know you were just kind of talking about it. I didn't get to hear all of it though.
What can Arizona separate themselves from Arizona State?
Yep.
Yeah, they can. Yeah. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. I will say that the problem with George Kliavkoff, the Arizona schools, Mike, have made it perfectly clear. I got a fly on me here. Perfectly clear. Arizona has said it in public, and Arizona State has said it in private many times over. Take it however you want to take it. They are not in favor. They have no interest in this heavy streaming component of a potential media deal. They will not go for a heavy Apple TV, for example, owning all or most of their content. The Arizona schools have made this perfectly clear. So, George Kliavkoff, the only way he could thread the needle was to cobble together enough linear partners to keep Arizona State on board and somehow produce enough money to get everybody else on board, and he just wasn't able to do it. Again, Arizona on center stage, all eyes on Arizona, and Arizona State is behind them. But we'll see what happens with Arizona State first. We'll see what happens with Arizona first. Excuse me.
Arizona first.
Yeah.
And I know this has been going for a while. Their work in Arizona. Now, I'll try to be quick. Your Mark wants to get that Pacific time zone school in.
Yeah.
Where does your eyes? Where do you go? Who takes the stage in the Pacific time zone if we're splitting up by time zone?
Well, I think they sort of consider the Arizona schools Pacific time zone, even though they're not. They sort of are. That whole thing with the. So I think they, but that's what makes it Oregon State, that steam, so interesting. We haven't heard any of it. Nobody has told us about Oregon State, and it's not because we haven't asked. So none of the people we've talked to have brought up Oregon State up, but there is some steam out there tonight. It's volatile, man. We're in the fog of war right now.
Pressure's on.
Huh?
The pressure's on now.
Yeah, the calls are going everywhere. You know this, Mike, more than anybody. Calls are being placed all over the place. There are, look, Big 12 representatives the Big 12 presidents are saying, okay, we had a plan. Where do we go next? Kansas has a loud voice in this, an important voice. So
they want Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Yes,
come out and
yes.
say
Yeah.
that. They want Arizona. And
Yeah.
I'll leave it on this. I think everyone's about to have a special board meeting.
Yeah.
I think we all got to take a breather on the board meeting.
Okay.
Any board is gonna be getting together on the West Coast.
I won't
Great
post everybody's board meetings on Twitter. I promise.
No, you can't. I'm saying everyone's gonna send them to you. So good
Yeah.
luck. Great work, and keep having fun while doing it. I have fun watching it. So thank
Appreciate it. Thanks, Mike.
Call from
Eric.
Eric, can you hold on for 1 second, please?
I sure can, my friend.
Thank you. I got a lot of catching up to do. J-Rod, I apologize for not getting to you super chat. As a Big 12 fan, I welcome any Pac-12 schools with open arms. That's from J-Rod. Again, thank you for your generosity to the channel. I appreciate it. Ryan Michael. Oregon versus Oregon State. Oregon versus... No, I'm sorry. That must be Oregon versus Ohio State. Oregon versus Michigan. Oregon versus Penn State. Oregon versus Wisconsin. Oregon versus Washington. Oregon versus USC. How would Fox, NBC, CBS not want to monetize those type of matchups? Big national eyeballs would come with the addition of the Ducks. And I highly agree with that. We talked about Oregon being a big-time brand multiplier. Not only those big contests with those big brand names, but Oregon would also elevate the brand of the Purdue game. Oregon, Purdue, Minnesota, Illinois, Rutgers. Oregon is a brand multiplier. PATC has tried to tell people the brand of Oregon out in those western states, even on the western side of Minnesota, Oregon's brand is huge. I agree with you, Ryan, but again, it's all about cost-benefit analysis. Is it better for the Big Ten to go get Oregon and Washington right now versus 5 years from now? We shall see. We don't have the answer, peek around the corner. We can only give you a peek, and that is the Big Ten they still have interest in Oregon and Washington. Thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate it. Eric, I apologize. The floor is yours, good sir.
No need to apologize, brother. First of all, I got to say I'm so excited. I just can't hide it.
Get closer to the phone. We can barely hear you.
I said I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it.
Got it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you a lot better now. Yes.
Hey, I said I'm so excited. I just can't hide it, baby.
Got it.
Hey, one thing. I know you won't toot your own horn, so I'll do it for you, Greg. You're right all along, and I'm going to take my W today because you remember I predicted by the first, no later than the 20th. I called my shot and said Colorado would be in. I didn't know what you knew, but man, you were right on the money. And you won't do it, so I'll do it. So all these people that called us Karens and conspiracies and all this, and to Tony Altimore, wah. So we got that. I just had to get my human side and get that out. But I'm excited as a BYU fan because I, like you, love college football. And this might help BYU more than anyone in the Big 12 because we get some teams out west. We're not the only team out west now. And I'm hoping and praying that we get Arizona and Arizona State because I love college football, and we have rivalries with them that go clear back to the early 70s. It would be great to get them from the old WAC days into this conference. So I'm just really, really excited. My next call is I 100% guarantee you Colorado's the first, but they won't be the last. I'm calling that shot. They won't be the last. I think, did you see that Jason Schur, who, like you, who's been on the money big time on this stuff, he said that there's a mystery team. In his tweet, I sent it to you, a DM. He says there is a mystery team other than the Four Corners who is really heating up as a very likely, as a possibility as a team. I'm thinking that he's thinking Oregon State. I don't know. But he did come right out and say that his sources say there is a mystery team team that's lining up that's a likely candidate that's not one of the Four Corners Southwestern schools. So I'm thinking Pacific West.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, but I don't know how to handle that. Let me take it out. I'm going to answer your question, but let me take it off with another caller, okay? I want you to keep listening.
Yeah,
okay?
And then one thing real quick. Do you think this opens the door for San Diego State or Colorado State with Colorado leaving into the pack?
No idea. I mean, that's a domino. That's about 56 dominoes down the line.
Gotcha.
We'll get to it.
Great show, Greg.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You stuck to your guns. You stuck to your integrity. And you know how Western Civic says no war? I say no personal attack. Let's love everybody. Baby.
Got it.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Okay. I think I know who the mystery school is. Call
from
Bob.
Hey, Bob, can you hold on for just 1 second?
Sure can, Greg.
Thank you so much. I think I know who the mystery school is about who is communicating with the Big 12 right now. That's not one of the Four Corners schools. I don't know how to go about this because everybody's calling everybody right now. I don't know how serious it is, but this school has always I'm going to say the school, but I want everybody just to chill out for a moment when I say the school, okay? It's Washington. That's what I think the school that they're talking about. I think I put out a tweet earlier saying that Brett Yormark is going for broke. He's got Colorado. He probably believes he's going to get Arizona. So now he's using momentum, right? He's using that inertia. He's going, he's bellying up to the bar. He's ordering the biggest drinks. He's going for it. And I think where he's going for it is Washington. Now, I'm sorry. Who's on the line again? Bob?
This is Bob. Hey, Greg. How you doing?
Can you just hold on? I apologize. I have to get this out, okay?
Yeah.
So just I don't know what to, we've talked about here, peek around the corner, a board member at the University of Washington is dead set against Washington going to the Big 12. So the chances of Washington going to the Big 12 for us is very, very slim. It remains slim tonight. And we also believe that the Oregon-Washington thing going to the Big 10 in the near future has probably got about a 25-30% shot. So, why am I saying because I think I cannot get into it too much, but I think what that mystery school everybody's talking about, I think it's Washington. We don't believe it's Oregon. We don't think that's the mystery school. And we think Brett Yormark is trying to land. If Washington checks back with the Big Ten and the Big Ten says no, I think it's Washington ahead of Oregon when it comes to communication between the two conferences, even though the Washington's, there's a board member that's dead set against it. You guys understand what I'm saying? So no, we're not declaring Washington the Big. I am putting that out there. I think that's the mystery school. I've got a hunch. It's a little bit more than a hunch. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I'm just giving you a little bit of peek. I think actually, even though we've been saying, Washington has no interest, I think that's the mystery school that people are talking about. Bob, apologize. I'm sorry. Go ahead. The floor is yours, good sir.
Oh, hey, Greg. Yeah, no, excellent stuff on Washington. And that kind of said, I agree with you 100%. Yarmark, he would love to have Washington in the Big 12. I mean, it's a natural replacement to Texas. It's like high academic standing, top 20 university, public university in the country. You know, it's on the West Coast. You know, right in Seattle. Of course, that would be fantastic. So he would be with open arms, I'm sure. But the reason why I call is a rare East Coast caller to you regarding UConn. It's getting a lot of steam in places, not so much on your podcast, but it seems from what he is saying about basketball, growth potential, brand potential, and the East Coast, that UConn, I listened to your podcast in the car a bunch today. You had mentioned you thought they were in the 20th row. I would say that they're closer at this point. And just want to get your thoughts on where you think they are today, coupled with Colorado news.
A couple of months ago, if we weren't the first ones to report it, we were pretty dang close. The legit interest that Brett Yormark had in UConn. So we had them in the auditorium a couple months ago, and we had them all the way up to the 5th row. This start of Act 13, with Brett Yormark leaving the stage, not having to say another word to Colorado, feeling really good about that. And we've heard that Brett Yormark is now starting to push the envelope on the possible additions of basketball-only programs, and one of those that he's looking at is UConn, because I think what's going on is the Big 12 presidents, they're having a meeting tonight, by the way, and Yormark and everything, they're feeling good about their chances of landing Colorado, which kind of is obvious now, and landing more than Colorado, and that kind of pushes UConn down, a peg or two in regards to their chances of entering the Big 12 as a full member.
I don't agree with that whatsoever.
Okay.
Colorado football and basketball is abysmal. You have the national championship basketball.
No question about it.
So there's no basketball only. That's not impossible.
The problem is Colorado has that. Well, they have a couple of things going for them. First of all, Fox is willing to pay their freight. They're going to get in as $31.7 million. And that's not going to happen with the UConn full member addition to the conference.
I don't know enough about that, but apparently there's some pull-in from some New York Metro type companies that could potentially pull them in. But
sure.
Interesting. Yeah. You think of it. Basketball, and that's the other. I mean, I wouldn't even really speculate too much on St. John's, Villanova, Gonzaga. Large public universities make up the big college conferences, Big Ten, SEC, sure. Large public universities. Basketball only, I don't think it's a play here. St. John's is not growing. Villanova is not going to grow. These are small private institutions that are not a fit for one sport in the Big 12. Just not.
Okay, got it. A lot of people agree with you. Like we said on the first day of Act 13, there are meetings this week, so we'll see what happens with Brett Yormark pushing that envelope. I think everyone's going to be hearing reports about it here pretty soon. Not going to say that it's going to get done. He's going through that option pretty aggressively.
Well, I think we all agree. You and I probably do agree that they're going to pull in another team here at least to go to 14, potentially 16. So that would be the wild card here.
Yeah.
If Colorado does get the nod to 13, there'll be a 14 and maybe a 15 and 16 to play, soon in the conference.
Got it. Okay.
Greg, good to speak with you.
Appreciate it, sir. Thanks for the phone call. Now, a lot of people are already taking the Washington comment out of context. We're not declaring Washington to the Big 12. We're not doing that. I believe that's the mystery school. I think that's what they're talking about. I think Yormark is trying to throw a bomb and score a touchdown.
Call from
JB.
JB is on the line. The floor is yours, good sir. What do you got to say tonight?
Well, how is the Carnival Barker doing this evening?
Carnival Barker, Clout Chaser, Wild Night, big news, big breaking news. It looks like Colorado is joining the Big 12 tomorrow officially.
You must be as giddy, and I've said this about you before, you must be as giddy as a kid on Christmas. You have earned your flowers, young man, and job well done.
Old man. Old man.
No, you're younger than me, so I can call
Got
you.
it.
And
All right. Okay.
I can call you young man. This show has a little bit of wrestling to it, not in the fact that it's phony or scripted, but in the fact that it always delivers and it always has content. And your content is always honest and it's always factual.
Thank you,
now,
sir.
You said through this process you keep talking about you taking L's. I don't see the L's, but that's you just trying to be honest.
Yeah, we've got some L's. We got some L's.
I don't see them.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with you on those. But again, that's you being honest. So I appreciate that. Couple of questions, Greg. If you were wrong about this the whole time, what would this have done to college football?
If I was wrong about the Colorado or the USC?
Yeah, about any of this. What would this have done to college football?
If I was wrong. About like...
Yeah, it would have done nothing to college football. And the reason why I asked you that question is, why do people get so bent out of shape and so nasty towards you, like you're trying to change college football, or you have the power to change college football? You don't.
People think that I'm rooting for things to happen, that I have some. People think I'm getting paid by people. Just a lot of conspiracies about me, and they're all wrong. I'm the most boring. I am the most boring person you could ever meet. So I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And it gets worse. It gets really bad when we hit on a story. Like when we did the PJ Fleck thing, I don't know if you know about that story, but when we said on December 25th, 2016 that Tracy Claeys was going to get let go in 212 hours from now, and that PJ Fleck was going to be target number 1, and then it happened 216 hours. I got more hate from people. It was amazing. So it gets really bad when you nail a story, so.
Right. Well, and if anybody had been paying attention back then, you could clearly see the tea leaves pointed toward him because he had been turned down by Purdue and other places. Different story for a different day.
Yeah.
Also, you've taken the L on the title chancellor.
Yeah. There was
president are the same thing, Greg.
No.
At different schools, they just have certain titles at different schools. They're the people that run the school.
No, the L on that was between April 28th to May 7th, when we had it confirmed that that this meeting was going to happen, but we couldn't call it a meeting on this channel. Somewhere around like May 8th or May 9th or May 8th or May 9th or May 10th, I got a call, and I think it was from Western Civic. And he said something, and I said, no, It's not the chancellor that was part of this hot bubble of action. It was the president of Colorado. No. A couple of days later, I found out that it was the chancellor of Colorado. So I gave bad information. So we took the L, but we couldn't tell you guys why we had the L. We just said, look, we got something wrong here. We corrected it. But
what I'm telling you is the chancellor, at Colorado, the title chancellor is equal to the president at the University of Minnesota.
Sure, yes.
They're basically the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not worth you taking an L over.
Yeah,
it's semantics. It's just semantics. Greg.
Well, there is a president of Colorado, though. There are two different people. So it isn't just a difference in title. There is a president of Colorado and a chancellor of Colorado. We thought the president of Colorado was involved in that meeting. He wasn't. It was the chancellor of Colorado. So we did get one part of that meeting incorrect when nobody knew that we were even talking about a meeting because I couldn't even talk about the meeting. So,
well,
yeah,
probably the president of the board of regents or directors or whatever they call them there.
Yeah.
And to finish up, because I know there's a lot more people want to call in and celebrate with you. You know, I just again want to tell you, great job.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing, and you know, I always give you a little bit more clue of who the heck I am.
Got it.
I did 22 years of morning radio in this town with a guy that had the initials TB. With that, Greg, congrats. I'll talk to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, good sir. Thank you, JP. Thank you very much. Ryan Michael, sorry about not getting to you super chat earlier.
Call from
Jeff Fuller.
Jeff, can you hold on a second?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Ryan Michael. Thank you for your super chat. If Fox covers the $31 million freight for Colorado to the Big 12, how does Fox, NBC, CBS not cover $40 million for Oregon to the Big 10? Well, Fox will cover their part of that $31 million. They're going to do it. I keep getting asked about it. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. And the other schools that follow, they're going to do the same thing because Fox, they don't want a one region Pacific Coast conference. They don't want to be part of that anymore. They see some of those Pac-12 schools being more valuable playing with the Big 12 schools, getting into the Central Time Zone, getting to the Eastern Time Zone. So that fly is bothering me. So, Fox is going to cover it. They're going to cover it. They're going to cover it. They're going to cover it. Colorado's going to get full freight. Why won't they cover the $40 million for Oregon? Well, you know, they might cover some of it, but they would want other media companies to pay up, and it probably would be more than $40 million. We'll see what happens, Ryan. It's a good question. It's a good question. Very good question. I'm not sure I have the answer for that. Thank you, Ryan, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Jeff Fuller, the floor is yours. Thank you for your patience.
Yes, sir. Thanks for your show. Nasty BYU fan liar checking in for duty, sir. If you know, you know. We won't mention names, but I did want to point out, you know, you're probably barking up the right tree with at least Washington and Jason Shear. He's the one who's sort of the source of that mystery school. He says not Four Corners, so that leaves 6 schools, you know, pretty much the Pac-12 North remaining there. But he replied to someone that said, you know, that Stanford and Cal don't even know they have athletic departments, so it's not them, and that Oregon State and Washington State, you know, didn't move the needle and wouldn't justify a full. Full share coming in. So he pretty much narrowed it down to Oregon and Washington. And who knows, you know, sometimes these are floated rumors to put pressure on other schools to join. You know, we'll see what plays out. I agree with you that there are a lot of dominoes that need to fall.
And can I add, and I'm just going to put this in there. For as much as there's a certain person on the Washington board that doesn't want this to happen, to go Washington, go to the Big 12, I think I can comfortably say the following, Jeff, without burning the source, or I think this is accurate. For as much as Washington, certain segments of Washington leadership has been cold to the idea of anything Big 12, I think they've been a little bit warmer than Oregon. I'm pretty sure there's been a little bit more communication, not a whole lot, but a little bit more communication between Washington and the Big 12 versus Oregon and the Big 12. So I'm just going to keep it at that. I'm not declaring nothing. I think it's a long shot. I'm just giving everybody a peek. I think the mystery school is Washington. I think that's what they're talking about. Go ahead,
great.
Jeff.
That seems to make a little sense. I think Oregon views their brand as far superior to anything that's in the Big 12 now. So why should they go from being the biggest brand remaining in the Pac-12 to being the biggest brand in the Big 12? Phil Knight, he's definitely gunning for whatever it takes financially to get them into the Big Ten. But that's up to the presidents of the Big Ten. But Washington, I would be surprised because there does seem to be a little bit more academic slant and maybe some just sort of the academic title, a little bit of elitist and looking down their nose at the Big 12. I haven't seen that as much from Washington fans as I have from a lot of the other Pac-10 fan bases. But I mean, I just really appreciate your show and what you've done and what you've shared and what you felt like you could share and giving us a peek around the corner. It's been fun to participate in it.
Thank you, Jeff.
As a BYU fan and a Big 12 fan, I'm really excited to have Colorado in the Big 12. A lot of people sort of say, oh, they're just horrible football team, and but from BYU's perspective, they're a travel partner. They sort of bridge the gap, and also
good point.
The Pac-12, the apologists there are saying, well, you lose Colorado, just plug in San Diego State, no big deal. I've got a tweet thread that sort of discusses that, and it's no question that Colorado is a bigger brand, a better program, a much better fan base. It's more engaged. They have a better media market with more engaged fans in college sports in Denver and Colorado than in Southern California. So it's if people are saying that, they're just trying to put lipstick on a pig.
Yeah. What do you think's going to happen next, Jeff? I mean, what do you think? Do you think Arizona goes into the boat within the next day after Colorado? Do they wait a week? Does Robbins does he stay patient, wanting to see some Pac-12 numbers? What do you think? What do you think Arizona's timeline is? What do you think's going to happen next?
I have no idea. I mean, the presidents decide all this. The Board of Regents, give the okays. But I mean, they've now got. A lot of the story before was we don't want to be first. We don't want to be the one that puts the final nail in the coffin. The corpse is bleeding out and the death is imminent. But and that's because of mainly USC, UCLA, the Big Ten, and Fox sort of gutting the Pac-12 a year ago. But we'll see who decides what. I think Arizona fans are the fan base most wanting to go to the Big 12 and always have been because they're so basketball centric. And I think a lot of them haven't really felt that they've ever been accepted into the club of the Pac-12. Maybe that's just something I've seen and heard from people, and I don't know if that's the fan base speaking or if that's coming from the academic side of things. I think that the Arizona schools have always been sort of viewed as not the originals, not as elite as the California and the Pacific Northwest schools. So we'll see. You know, I have no idea what's going to happen, but it's been interesting to see. And you know, I'm just proud that the Big 12 has gotten stronger and more secure with this maneuver. And you know, kudos to Yormark and the presidents and everyone involved, and for Colorado for having the cojones to make it.
Got it. Thanks for the phone call, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, good sir.
Great show.
Great call. Great call. Great call. Woo! I'm getting a lot of information on my phone. Holy cow.
Call from
ABO Prep Course 100.
All right, whoever this is, the floor is yours.
Hi, Greg. It's Soap.
Soap is on the line. What's going on, sir? What's happening?
Well, I don't mean to be a hateful person, Greg, but I sure would like for you to kill that damn fly that's terrorizing you.
Yeah, well, it's, you know.
I'm joking, my friend.
Okay.
I'm sorry you're in that situation.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
And Colorado's coming home, man. That's the way I look at this. You know,
yeah.
Colorado, and imagine this. You know, what's it going to be like to get, or better yet, let's put it in context. Wouldn't you like to be that fly on the wall in the room with when Deion Sanders and Brett Yormark meet together and decide what they're going to do to promote each other? That'd be great.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned fog of war, and I think that's really kind of what we're seeing right now.
Sure.
I noticed, I read something that was written in 2010 when Colorado left the Big 12. I just saw it online today, and they were so sure that Texas A&M, Texas Tech, OU, and Oklahoma State were all going to the Pac-10. That was like it was on ESPN, and they just kind of wrote it like they were the four corner schools. So we really don't know what's going to happen here. But I personally think a lot of this is structured towards the playoffs that are coming up. You have four spots in the playoff for conferences that have the highest rated or who are rated the highest.
Conference
if you just
champions.
Have four conferences, then you have the four automatic buys, and so it gets me thinking that this has been kind of structured for a while. You know, that they have wanted to have four major conferences, and I think it's actually going to end up with three. That having been said, I think the third conference being the Big 12 is going to get as many members as they can, because they already have that. It's been referred to as a hunting license, where they can go out and sign any P5 member. So why not get as many P5 members as you can? Their freight is paid for. It means that there's a better chance that you're going to generate revenue from bowl games or going to conference championships or to the Final Four or whatever. Why not sign up as many as you can? And it's going to guarantee your existence in the long term.
That last one is the most important one. They make sure they are in the room for the 2026 conversations around the expanded playoffs and years later. Absolutely correct.
And I don't mean to upset anybody who disagrees with this concept, but it also, if you have a league of, like, let's say 24 teams, if the ACC comes apart or something, you then have the potential to have two divisions, a relegation division inside your conference. Everybody gets paid the same amount of money, but one division, you know, you're assured that the best 12 teams are all playing each other on national television, where the other 12 teams are playing each other on the internet or, on FS1, whatever it might be. But at least you make sure that those 12 best teams are all playing each other. And I think that's what we're going to go to, is that relegation. I'm going to leave it with that. I want to thank you personally, Greg, because I had requested from you about 2 months ago that if and when this day came that you would sing Rocky Mountain High, and I was so appreciative to hear that you're going to fulfill.
I'm going to sing that. I'm going to sing that song tomorrow when the votes come in. Right?
Okay.
When it becomes official, I'm going to sing Rocky Mountain High, dedicated to Gold and Blue Dude and everybody else. And it's going to cause a lot of damage. So hit the mute button. Get the things in your ears, but it's going to happen. It's going to be a cappella. It's going to be off key, whatever. It's going to happen. It's going down tomorrow. The host of the show is going to sing Rocky Mountain High, dedicated to Gold and Blue Dude and the whole PATC community.
Outstanding. I will be waiting to see it. I'll be very excited. Thank you for the time, my friend.
Appreciate it. Thank you. According to T-Duck per 247 Arizona, I just received a message for someone closely connected, and he let me know that the Arizona Wildcats are also close to announcing a move to the Big 12. Who, T-Duck, who in the 247 Arizona is saying that? Jason Shear? Is it a pollster? Is it the other gentleman, Mike Luke? Let me know.
Call from
Due diligence.
Due diligence. The floor is yours, Western Civic. What's going on?
You got a lot of viewers tonight, Greg.
Yeah, and I'm very, very thankful. I'm thankful for everybody coming into the room. I appreciate it. The problem is I got a fly in the studio that's causing havoc, but other than that, everything's going pretty smooth until I sing Rocky Mountain High tomorrow. Then things are going to get real ugly.
All right. Well, hey, I'll try and be quick, but a couple things, a question, and then a couple of quick ideas at the end. But for due diligence, first of all, if I'm not mistaken, the most official information we have about anything right now came from the official Instagram account of the mascot at Ohio State. Okay? Am I wrong? Can you, and of course, the implications of that are, it was a photograph of the Buckeye and the Duck from Autzen Stadium tweeted today. Okay, and just for the record, the lawyer in me is going to come out here. And Opie, if you're listening, I'm claiming victory in the bet pursuant to that official tweet of a mascot, because it's the first official information we have. Now, Greg, because you do have a damn good show.
Yeah.
Even though you hung up on me, if maybe you're nice to me, and maybe, I don't know, maybe you ought to send me to some games, and maybe I'd, you buy me tickets, maybe I'd go on location and I'd call some more. But hey, that's another story. Look, so that, am I wrong? Well, I mean, I know we're getting a whole lot of media, mostly independent media hype right now at this moment. But what exactly officially do we know, and from whom, where?
Okay, first of all, the mascot, Oregon and Ohio State, has nothing to do with realignment. That picture has nothing to do with realignment.
How do you know that? And hold on, how do you know that? And by the way, I know, Greg, you're great, but the Oregon State mascot, as ridiculous as it is, anything coming from his official Instagram account carries more weight than anything I've heard so far. And so we don't know that. And the implication of that is clear that I don't think it's about, you show me the game they're scheduling, or it's about realignment.
I guess it's about Nike. They're both in Nike schools. So something to do with that.
There's a big future. Did you read it? It says I don't know. It says one sentence about big future with B1G. Anyway, but anyway, let's go back to the question. What do we have officially saying from Colorado that they are going to the Big 12 right now at this moment?
Nothing official.
Thank you. So that's great. We're getting a lot of wind. I'm not saying you're wrong. And Greg, I've never said you've been wrong about all this. I still can't believe it. So I'm going to throw out two ideas. One, I don't think the media companies want to see this happen. I don't think that's their, I think they're trying to get Notre Dame to, join the Big Ten. I think that's the conventional media partner wisdom. But if Colorado took Coach Prime and said, we know Coach Prime is going to be here for X amount of years, and they gobbled up their current media situation, it would be a hell of a risk, a hell of a situation, and Coach Prime is unprecedented. And they said, we're taking our own media rights and we're going independent. Could they find could they find a media partner to do that who could also couple together a schedule for them in time for 24? So that's the question. Now, that's one thing that's a possibility. The other is this, Greg, and I said it before. Wouldn't it be fascinating, and given all this angst, wouldn't it make for hella football games if for like 2 or 3 years, both the Pac and the Big 12 merged entirely and had Pac Big 12 hostility games for the next 3 years until the Big is ready? But again, Opie, the lawyer in me, and maybe if you're nice, Greg, we can put a courthouse in the Flugarian city, and in the future we can have litigation about who wins this bet. Because remember, the bet was that Colorado would not jump before another school went somewhere else. And again, I know it's only the Ohio State mascot, but the Ohio State mascot doesn't get to put stuff out on Instagram without Ohio State saying it's okay. And Greg, until you can show me otherwise, I think all evidence suggests that tweet is about a Big Ten future for Oregon, nothing other than that. You have to prove me otherwise. I will listen, and I'd love to hear nice things from you to me if you want. You can send me an email. It's my handle at Gmail, and I hope I don't get a bunch of spam now, but there you go.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Luck,
No more
Greg.
war.
Good luck.
No
Good
more
luck.
war.
No, and of course, annual playoff eligibility remains the key.
Got it.
And if you're nice to me, maybe I'll call back, Greg. Good
Got
luck
it.
to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm just getting a. Yeah, I'm getting some information that Fox and ESPN. I better not say it. Well, I'm going to be careful how I say this. Fox and ESPN, as you all know, lowballed the Pac-12. Gave them once they got their deal signed on October 30th, or October 30th, with the Big 12. Fox and ESPN, it seems like they have allegedly, PATC allegedly are letting you guys know that ESPN and Fox seems to have, tightened the screws somewhat, wanted to get this thing going, get people off the edge, get them off the, Colorado, look, this thing almost happened middle of June. Colorado almost made their move in the middle of June. Thank you so much, Papa Cade, Super Chat. Wow. Thank you for the generosity. $10 for each month I've been watching. Great work. Thank you so much for your incredible generosity to this channel. Please make comments. Give us a call when you get a chance. It looks like you're a BYU, Utah. Your family's probably cut down the middle according to your avatar. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We talked about the story being that the Pac-12 couldn't get a media deal done. It didn't look like they could get one done that satisfied all 10 Pac-12 presidents. Now it's sounding like the steam is coming from what I'm getting during this live show, and I apologize. I'm hemming and hawing here, but it sounds like ESPN and Fox kind of tightened the screws and said to some of these Pac-12 schools, look, we're not coming to play. We're not doing this. If you can get a deal with somebody else, go ahead. But you know what? Fox and ESPN are not going away anytime soon when it comes to college football, college basketball. And we don't see a future. It's time to make the move. That's how I'm going to say it. Sounds like they were allegedly instrumental here in the last week or so to tighten that screw, and Colorado, I think, finally had to make the move because, again, Pac-12 doesn't have a package, doesn't have a media deal that can satisfy all 10 schools. Right now, today, they still don't have it. They don't really have something that they can even put forward to Pac-12 presidents. Arizona President Robbins said today, not last week, not 4 days ago, not 3 days ago, today, Arizona President Robbins said, we're just waiting on a deal. We just want to see a deal. They just want to see a deal. They don't even have a deal. Ladies and gentlemen, they don't have a deal. I know there's been reports that the room has shifted. Looks like it's getting better. Things are coming together. We got this part of the deal done. We just need to get that part of the deal done. We got a verbal agreement around the grant of rights. Okay. None of that is true. If it turns out tomorrow that the University of Colorado leaves and goes to the Big 12, now it hurts George Kliavkoff. God, this fly. Now it hurts George Kliavkoff's position even more with the networks, whoever he's dealing with. I know Colorado's not the biggest brand out there. They got a decent brand, but they're the biggest brand in the state of Colorado. I get it. We understand it. They're not a needle mover to themselves. But you lose Colorado, who you adding? San Diego State? Well, suddenly they have to come up with $34 million. $34 million to get into the Pac-12 next year.
Call from
crab cakes and football.
Crab cakes and football. Can you just hold one moment? I just want to finish my thought here.
Oh, good.
You know, if this happens tomorrow, and looks like it's going to happen, when Brett McMurphy puts out a tweet and says, his first tweet says 98%, then basically his next tweet says, this is happening. If this happens tomorrow, Colorado goes to Big 12, man, this hurts. It does. It makes it even more complicated. And it's already was complicated enough for George Kliavkoff. And it wasn't, Colorado itself was never going to implode the conference, but they were always the tip of the spear. We always had them at the center of the stage. And the threat to the Pac-12, the threat to George Kliavkoff is who follows Colorado and how soon. How soon? Because if Arizona follows quickly, then Arizona State will probably follow quickly. If Arizona gives the Pac-12 a little bit more space, a little bit more time, a couple more weeks, maybe a miracle happens. You never know. But if Arizona follows quickly, then this thing could shatter. We don't know where it's going. I'm sorry. We at Peek Around the Corner, we don't have a crystal ball. We're going to do the best we can to provide the quickest information, the most accurate way, the most entertainment way possible. But man, this thing could shatter in all different directions. So hang with us. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe. You get notified of our next live show, of our next episode. Please share the video with your family and friends if you want to donate to this rebel outpost of all college football YouTube channels. Hit that $. We'll get you a comment as soon as possible. Again, Papa Cade, thank you so much for your super chat. Okay, the floor is yours, sir. Crab cakes and football, Mr. Maryland Terrapin. You were voted 4th in the Big Ten East. In the Big Ten Media Days, you're up ahead of Michigan State. Go ahead. The floor is yours, good sir.
How you doing today? First off, give yourself a round of applause for your accuracy on everything that you've done. Even when you do take an L, you admit it, and it takes a big man to admit when they're wrong.
Thank you,
Second,
sir.
I'm really surprised at the timing of this. You got the Big Ten Media Days going on. I didn't think that they would crush or do this on during this, but
this was supposed to happen next week.
I'm really surprised. I know someone probably jumped the gun and probably put him in the bad. So they still might wait to announce. That don't mean they have to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they still might wait until Monday or something like that. But I think all the voting and everything will probably happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm, I was a Tony Altomare fan, not so much anymore after his outburst, but I mean, I'm probably wondering what he's thinking tonight. But most of all, I'm really surprised by the Oregon State news because they have been so quiet in all this, and now we don't know what's really going on there. But if they get an invite to the Big 12 before Oregon gets an invite to the Big 10, that is going to be a shell shocker to use a Maryland term there. So. But that's all I pretty much had for you. Is I was really surprised by the timing because last night I listened to your show, or I think it was last night, and you had this is the bad week to do it and everything else, and then lo and behold, today they're like, oh, Colorado, and now I'm really looking at Arizona, I'm looking at Oregon State, and I'm looking at Arizona State, and I'm looking at Utah. So I mean, I don't have any reason to look at Utah, but I got a funny feeling somewhere in here Utah is going to pop their ugly head. I just have a funny feeling. But so I just want to say, congratulations. Have a good night, and I'm still continuing to listen to your show, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. A lot of takes, a lot of different takes in the chat. Adam Vulture, Oregon State, silent but deadly. The vote will be on a video feed. We're going to be live during the show. We're not going to be, we're not going to post a live feed. We're not taking any chances here at Peek Around the Corner. But I'll be looking at my phone. You guys be in the chat. We're just going to cover the vote, cover the story, cover the breaking news. So we're going to be going on at some time around that live Colorado Board of Regents meeting.
Call from
Kenny V.
Kenny V's on the line. The floor is yours, good sir. What do you got to say?
Oh, I think everybody in this on your show thinks that Arizona's going to be next, probably followed closely by Arizona State. Do you think the Big 12 would cut it off at 4, or do you think they might be willing to go to 6 with all this stuff in the ACC getting ready to happen?
It all depends. It all depends who that 17th and 18th is, right? If it's Washington and Oregon, they'll go to 18. If it's not Washington and Oregon, they probably won't go to 17 and 18, right? So
that would be my thought.
I but
kind of pictured it at a 2014 conference at some point. Just I'm having trouble visualizing it because it's all moving so fast now,
Yeah. No. Well, hey, we're all in the same boat. This thing could go so many different directions, right? It's volatile. People are calling everybody. Everyone's trying to get the best deal. George, now, Brett Yormark's leverage at this point has increased, 50 times, right? His leverage today is 50 times greater than it was 3 days ago. He got the tip of the spear, Colorado, to crack open the conference, and now he's going big-time hunting. That's why I think Washington is the mystery school, but we'll see what happens. I can't tell you what's going to happen next, other than we should all focus on Arizona, but beyond that, buckle up.
Well, thank you for that, and I want to tell you, you put on a fantastic show. You don't mislead anybody. You just analyze the facts and see where they're leading, and I enjoy your content.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it. Please keep listening. Please keep calling. Thank you so very much.
Have a good evening.
You too, sir. Thank you. Grant Creech, thank you for getting into the chat room. Jason Shear says Arizona's on the clock, and I don't doubt it. We have them at the center of the stage. That's the one thing that we can say. Look, Arizona President Bobby Robbins, he knows, of all the Pac-12 presidents, he's the most interested in sports. Big brand, Arizona basketball. They have an affinity for the Big 12. He's got friends over there, President Bobby Robbins. Do you want to put Arizona basketball behind Apple TV? Man, now, Colorado, looks like they've made the decision. The vote's tomorrow. Looks like it's happening. If Bobby Robbins is leaning towards the Big 12, Colorado has made it so much easier for Bobby Robbins to pull the trigger. And that was the value of Colorado. And Brett Yormark knew that. That's why he focused on Colorado. That's why they had the meeting on May 7th in the city of Chicago. He focused on the tip of the spear to crack it open. And it happened. It happened. It happened. And Brett...
Call from
Bobby.
It might be Bobby Robbins, the university president of Arizona. Who's on the line? Whoever it is, the floor is yours, good sir.
Great. First of all, love your show.
Appreciate it.
I'm a Hawkeye fan, but you're my favorite Gopher. You need to know that.
Okay. Well, I got the Hawkeyes. I got the Hawkeyes winning the Big Ten West this year, so I have to be a favorite Gopher.
No, you and all kudos for this show, by the way, not just for tonight, for everything you do. It takes such talent and work and effort. God bless you, man. It's a huge accomplishment.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
My only little take I want to throw in there, something I haven't heard you cover necessarily, that I think every school in the Pac-10 has to be worried about. Say Colorado and Arizona go, and the rest of the 8 stay together.
Yeah.
The first transfer portal possibility, players are going to fly. They're just going to fly out. This is where, if I'm Oregon or Washington, I have to be going to the Big Ten and say, we can't sit here for 3 years. I mean, it's not even a matter of money. It's exposure with the players.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the talent drain. And I don't think people calculate that enough. And no amount of NIL money will keep a lot of those players there.
Yes,
they know. The players aren't stupid. They know.
Yes. Yes.
And that's where, even for some of the lesser schools like Stanford and stuff, players at the first NIL or first transfer portal, you're going to see players transfer like you've never seen before, and that's saying something.
Yes, sir. Yeah. You're on a roll. Keep going, baby. This is the perfect call right here, right now. Keep going, man. You're nailing it.
Like I say, I just don't think people have thought about this aspect. You hear about the money and you hear about the networks and everything else. This could take, I mean, and you don't like to use the word Armageddon, but this could take one transfer portal season, and your whole program could be gone.
And you do that for 2 or 3 years, it's gone for a long time. It's like maybe gone forever. This isn't just network. 20 years ago with transfers and with the media stuff, if you didn't do well, if you had a bad recruiting season, it wasn't a big deal. They didn't have NIL then, and they didn't have the transfer portal then.
Yes, sir.
We're in a totally different season now.
Yes, sir.
Totally different. Whole programs could disappear overnight. And that sounds drastic, but it's true. Mm-hmm. We've certainly seen teams trying to build their whole programs in one transfer portal season. Look what Colorado's been doing anyway. But that's my main point that I just don't think people have thought about enough and talked about enough.
And if
I have to think.
If I can piggyback off your great comment, that's why we've had Oregon and Washington, like a 30% chance of going to the Big 12, even before this happened, just because of what you're alluding to, this scenario playing out like this. This is why Washington and Oregon, no question, they've called Tony Petitti at the Big Ten Media Days tonight. There's no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt. I'm telling you right now, as I'm sitting here, the fat guy from Minnesota is sitting here in the studio. The donors are calling each other like crazy. Yeah. What can we do? Look, I'm telling you, this is what happened with the USC, calling with the Big Ten. The donors, that's how we found out about it. It is the phone calls, the phone lines are lighting up like crazy right now during this live show. That's why it's so volatile. You're absolutely right. Washington and Oregon athletic departments, the front porches of the universities, man, they cannot afford to just sit. Yeah, they've got big NIL money, but baby, that exposure, they need the best exposure possible. They'll take a discount to get to the Big Ten. They'll do whatever they can in the Big Ten. And if they can't right now in this near-term cycle, then the Big 12, your mark is ready to go all out to throw that big 75-yard touchdown bomb with a minute left to go in the game. He's going full force to see if he can make it happen.
Well, this is also where if you're Arizona or Arizona State, you have to make this move because the boosters are already saying we want to make this move and we are not going to bail you out. We're not going to offer you more NIL money to make up for this.
Yeah, they're not going to double dip. You're absolutely correct. Yep.
Not when they said you could have done this now and been okay. We're not going to make up for your deficit. Yep. No, that's why I don't think people have thought about NIL and transfer portal nearly enough with all of this stuff. It's not a wild card. It's a certainty. We keep seeing it getting bigger. And for any of the Pac schools, I feel bad for them that can't move or won't move. It's ugly. It just has to be ugly. If you're a coaching staff, what do you do? No, but that's like I say, that's the main point. And no, I agree with you on Oregon and Washington. They can't. You can't afford to have a single season, let alone 2 or 3 seasons, where people don't see you. You can't. You just can't.
Yeah.
Nobody currently is big enough to withstand that.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, that's why Texas and Oklahoma. Well, I know what. I don't have time to go down that road, but it's why they moved, because they want to increase their stand. Whatever. Thank you for the phone call. Thank you so much.
Thanks again. Great show. I'm really proud of you, Greg. Great show. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Call again, man.
Woo! Yep.
Holy smokes. We got to update the Holy Smokes Act 13 stage tomorrow. I got to sing what's that song? Rocky Mountain High. I have to sing that song off key a cappella tomorrow. We're going to be covering the live vote, Colorado Board of Regents. It's a public meeting, which means a vote can take place. And I think it's happening. A lot of people think it's happening.
Call from
Wyoming.
Wyoming is on the line. Thanks for calling again, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Ooh, Mountain West. What is now?
Yeah,
Look, we didn't even talk about this. That's why it's so great. Mr. Wyoming is calling. Pac-12 implodes. The possibility of imploding some more. What does Mountain West Conference? What happens there? Anyways, I don't want to steal your thunder. The floor is yours, good sir.
Yeah, it's a great day to be in the Mountain West because they'll be picking up schools hopefully and adding some TV revenue. I mean, we have major universities. So there's 4.
Oh, wait a second.
Hawaii.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wyoming. Can you hold? I apologize. Country Roads Z5150. Thank you for your super chat. I say add Colorado, Arizona State, and Oregon State, and Gonzaga. Then UConn may be forced to do basketball only. That's coming from Country Roads. Thank you for your super chat. I apologize. I did not get to it earlier. I got to do a better job of that. Thank you so much for your appreciation. I appreciate your generosity. Adam Vulture, if Washington, Oregon State, Colorado strike quickly, could the Arizonas be left out? I don't think Arizona's not going to be left out of this. If they want in, they're going to get in. Arizona State probably as well, but Arizona's definitely not going to be left out. Adam Vulture, again, thank you for your super chat. I should have gotten to your comment earlier. Now, Mr. Wyoming, the floor is definitely yours. You're not going to get interrupted again.
Yeah, you're good. I just think it's going to be a great get. There's 4 state universities of that state: Hawaii, New Mexico, Wyoming, and Nevada. I think Fox and CBS, their partnership is excellent. I think they'll get more money. I mean, look at those western states. You get more and more people moving to those areas. And look at Vegas. That market just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. And they have, 2 professional teams, possibly another one with the A's moving there. Larry Shiat, our coach at Wyoming, always said, like, the Mountain West or the teams in our conference were the last frontier. And so I think it's a great opportunity. And as the Pac implodes, there's, 6 conference champions get an automatic bid. And it really doesn't matter if you're in a power conference because every school will have equal opportunity to the playoff, which was never the case for a group of 5. So I look at it that, and then it's a great opportunity if you can make it to the playoff, you'll make more money, and then that helps with boosters. And our schools in our conference are huge state universities. We live on the western half in the least populated states, but everyone supports them. And I think Arizona is going to probably lead the Pac-12. I know someone who's affiliated with Baylor's athletic department, and they were telling me a while ago that Colorado and Arizona and Gonzaga were going to join the Big 12 together, and hopefully we'll see more teams in the Big 12.
Well, we're definitely going to see more teams in the Big 12, but we'll see how it goes. But things could get very interesting in the Mountain West here. Very, very, very interesting. Completely impossible to predict. Could they be the hunters instead of being the hunted? Could it be the Pac-12 implodes so much? Now, maybe it won't. But could it be implode so much to where only a couple schools get left? A Stanford, a California, a Washington State, an Oregon State. Those 4 schools, could the Mountain West become the hunters instead of the hunted? Wow. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think Washington State's going to have to join the Mountain West. They've done a bad job with their athletic director and their president with firing Nick Rolovich during COVID. And they're going through that legal litigation. I don't think they're in a good spot. And a lot of these Pac-12 schools are in deficit. So
yeah.
They have to make the jump. They don't have a TV contract, and if they can get out of the conference for free, they're going to do that. And the guarantee is the Big 12, and I think Oregon and Washington they could be in the Big 10 tomorrow. So we'll wait and see about that.
Could be. We'll see. Great phone call, Mr. Wyoming.
Yeah, go Pokes.
Go,
Have a good day.
Yeah, go Pokes. Call us again, okay?
All right.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Great call, Cameron B. People forget the Mountain West has a TV deal and the Pac doesn't. Yes, they do now. Well, it's true. It's absolutely true. Cameron B., thank you for the super chat. I appreciate your continuous generosity to the show. Thank you so very much. Mark Ruckert, who came in the house late, but he's here now. Greg, congratulations on being the number one source. Wow, for NCAA footballs. Peek around the corner, humility and victory is why you have my loyalty to the show. Thank you, Mark, for your super chat. I appreciate your generosity. I appreciate your comments. You had a great phone call the other day. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody. And for all the new people who've come into this show tonight, subscribe to our show. We're a little bit different. We do some singing on this show. I do my predictions. This year I'm going to be Greg the Cooler. I'm going to be Greg the Heater for 2023. Last year was a disaster. This year we are going to turn it around somehow, some way. But thanks for coming on in. Please subscribe to the channel. Kaufman, great show as always. Can't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day. Daniel Montecastle says, say good night, Gracie. J. Rod is saying good night. Oh, I'm not leaving yet. People looks like everyone's taken off. Greg will be on fire. I think everyone's saying good night because I threatened them that I'm going to sing Rocky Mountain High again tomorrow night. What time tomorrow? We'll see. David M. I think that I think we're coming on. I shouldn't say anything. I was thinking maybe 3 o'clock Central Time, because the meeting starts 3 o'clock Mountain Time. I think we're going to try to start 1 hour early, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Keep it going. Read some of those texts. 4 o'clock Eastern. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, we'll call it a night. We got a big show tomorrow. Who knows? We could be coming on live tomorrow morning. But we're going to be going live. Keep your head on a swivel. That's why you have to subscribe to our channel so you get some notification. Follow us at Flug Empire on the Twitter, the ticker below the screen. So you know we will give you an update when we're coming on live tomorrow. Am I going to sling some mud tomorrow? Maybe just a little bit. But we're going to keep it. I'm going to continue to be Gentleman Greg as much as I possibly can. We'll take another phone call here.
Call from
Steve, Mr. Bearcat himself. Wow. What's going on, sir? What are you thinking?
Well, you showed great humility. You called about every shot that was supposed to be called. Was correct on a large percentage of it. This is what happens when you're in negotiations and you give false narratives to those who are in these negotiations and to those in the public, okay? And everybody in the pack can toe the company line, which is fine. They're expected to. But when push comes to shove and money is what drives all this, along with the exposure, I'll give it that, but money is what drives all of this. And when you don't see money put in front of you for over 12 months, then I won't say panic sets in, but when your back's against the wall, you got to go to plan B, C, or D. It's that simple. I hate to make it sound that simple, but through the whole thing, the Pac has dropped the ball day after day after day. And I just want to know what your reaction is to that.
Yeah. Well, they did drop the ball. There was some bad. Now, the public, as little as George Kliakoff has spoken in public, Steve, he's done a brutal job of it. So I can't imagine what the private communication was. Like you have said, they have, I get back to it, but when he talked about how UCLA was going to make less money, you have to know those Pac-12 presidents just put their heads down and said, oh my gosh, what have we done hiring this guy? Because over and over again, he has said things that were just blatantly false, right? Not
right.
even close to being accurate. And then his performance at the that performance was brutal at the end of his talks at the Pac-12 media days. I think he broke trust with the Pac-12 presidents. I think a lot of people look. Colorado's the only one that looks like they're going to make the move. But come on, Steve knows this. We all know this. Those other Pac-12 presidents, they're not sitting there going, my goodness, man, we've got something special here as a commissioner. They know they're in a tough spot. They know the media market shrunk on them. They know that ESPN and Fox basically rejected them. They know all of this. So that's the spot they're in.
And again, it's basically what I meant by sooner or later you get backed into a corner, and then you're saying, okay, how do we get out of this corner? No, to get out of this corner, we're not waiting on a media deal that's been rumored for how long? Can't do it anymore, guys. This is about money. This is about pressure from the outside, and the pressure from the outside is what, Greg? Money.
Yeah.
Okay? This is from people who have money, okay, who take care of our athletic department. And so we're going to tell them, no, we're going to wait on something for a year, and then we'll make a decision. And I'm sure those people say that have the money, and it's going to happen. And like you said, the phone lines are lighting up in the mountain time zone and Pacific time zone right now. Phones are lighting up.
Oh yeah,
at all these universities.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know what? People are saying? Somebody better come to a decision because you all had enough time to digest whatever it is you've been given to digest.
Yeah.
And I can cut off the money tomorrow. Okay, so now that will turn some heads on a board real quick at a major university. And I think people miss that the outside pressures really can drive a lot of this. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, how much, and I'll leave you with this, Greg, how much more negative publicity on the sports front, on the athletic front, can these Pac schools take? How much more can they take?
Yeah, not much. Not much more, Steve.
No, and that is negative publicity is not far down the line from, hey, we're cutting you off. We're cutting the money off because we're tired of how everything's transpired. With that, Greg, great job.
Thank you.
I'll be tuning in tomorrow. Take care of your family. I know what it's like, my man.
Got it. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. I appreciate your friendship, your phone calls, Steve. Mr. Bearcat, great call. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. right, we're going to end that on that great call once again from Mr. Bearcat himself, Steve. Thank you for everybody joining us on this historic night at Peek Around the Corner. We're going to be going live sometime tomorrow, maybe twice tomorrow. It's going to be a big day tomorrow. The day tomorrow is going to make this day look like a walk in the park. My phone has lit up during this live show. We have more information. We're going to share it tomorrow. We're going to do the best we can to give you the peek around the corner that you deserve in college football. Cloak and dagger, cloak and dagger, cloak and dagger. Tomorrow, there's going to be a lot of daggers. And they're the hardest to predict. We've been able to uncloak the cloaking that's been going on with Colorado in the Big 12. May 7th, 24th, 31st. We've given you the dates. Those are going to be part of the historic record when story is all said and done. And now it's a what have you done for me lately kind of world. So we got to get back to work at Peek Around the Corner. We're going to give you the best information as quick as possible, hopefully in an entertaining manner. And so stick with us here at Peek Around the Corner. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button. If you liked our content, share the video with your family and friends. Until next time, until sometime tomorrow, from all of us at PATC, from the little general herself, the moderator, the one who rules with an iron fist, from all of us to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.